Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Between Two Earnings Calls with Mr. Investor Relations. I'm your host, 𝗕𝗿𝗏𝘂, and in today's video, we're going to do an analysis of the investor relations job market for July of 2025, and this is the short version or the executive summary of our data. So we're going to start with our dashboard, and in a given quarter, quarter or month, we expect to see between 10 to 14 number one IR job opportunities, which then translates into 1 to 3 calls or a 10 to 20% conversion rate. So how did we do in the month of July? Well, the market seemed to deteriorate and was mixed. And the reason was the opportunity set was robust at 19, which is well above the expected range, but then actual conversions and conversion rate was well below the expected range at 0. And we think that these results really corroborate the negative information you were seeing in the July jobs report. So what are the key takeaways on the July investor relations job market? And again, results were mixed in the month, and I think tariffs were driving the bus here. Total opportunities of the number one IR job at all levels were well above the expected range, and conversion rates were 0, which was more than 2 standard deviations below the mean. So what are the key takeaways? First, August is shaping up to be significantly weaker than July. Number 2, the IR job market seems to lack follow-through, and this seems to happen whenever tariffs become more prominent in the economy or in the narrative. And then third, our data seems to corroborate the weak July jobs data report, and we're hypothesizing that rate cuts could positively impact the weak job market. And that's why our goal is to publish our month of August job update next week ahead of the August jobs data next Friday. And so let's look at a couple of high-level charts. And first is on conversion rate. And what we show here is, conversion was really strong, in COVID. COVID was the best at 21%. It got weaker in 23 and 24. And what we're seeing here in 25 is a really negative environment in terms of conversion. There doesn't seem to be a lot of follow through, or it's very choppy. And we think it's because of the impact of tariffs. And on the next chart, we plot that conversion on a monthly basis going back to January of 23. And what's really interesting is that, the 0% in July of 25, March of 25, and January of 25 all coincide with eras or times when tariffs were looming really large in the economy or the economic narrative. And when that dissipates, we've seen conversion rates go up, as you see in April, May, and June of 25. Next, we do a new analysis where we're looking at Jobalytics score, which looks at your keywords of your resume to a job description, and then the number of days it takes to obtain a rejection from an organization. And what's interesting is sometimes when you score the highest on keyword comparison, you get the quickest rejections. And then secondly, some of the quickest rejections we get are from those entities using Workday as their human capital management platform. And my high-level takeaways here are that the market seems really focused on a PSA 10 or a pristine resume that doesn't really exist. And what's happening is a lot of great candidates are being excluded because there's no more personal touch in this process. If you don't have the right keywords and can't get through the computer, you don't get through and you don't have a discussion. And what's interesting to me, and this foreshadows one of my future reports, is that the Workday HCM tool seems to be more of a rejection tool than a hiring tool. And the reason I say that is that we get some of our fastest rejections from Workday. And secondly, when you apply to a Workday job and get rejected, you're never allowed to reapply to that job in the future, sometimes even if it's reposted. So it can be a very punitive tool to those who are trying to either get a job, grow in their career, or organizations looking to find better talent. With that, thanks for watching. Always here to discuss the data and hope you reach out.